Okay, good morning, guys. Future self, you're still, that's just mean. Okay, now, what we're going to do, this is just a brief overview of your project and to make sure you guys understand the mark sheet. If you guys go to the shed, and unfortunately I've been very clever in the fact that I've managed to create 2 Google shares, both pointing to slightly different locations, and some points to one, some points to the other. So still have to collate it to make sure that they all point to the same location, and then we're not going crazy there. But if you go to your IT General Resources and you go to Projects, you'll see there an HTML project, and there's the task sheet available to you there. So in the Google Shares that we have available, the link is on Moodle, and there's a link inside the Teams. Unfortunately, on the iPads, the Teams link, it doesn't work. They don't allow the Google Shares with inside Teams on iPad yet. Anyway, this is the task here that I've got open on the screen at the moment. You'll notice there I've tried to keep it as unspecific as possible, and the reason why is a lot of IT is about, I want to encourage creativity. I want to encourage you to come up with your own ideas, to be creative. So all I'm asking is that you have a website that should introduce a noob to technology, containing specs, examples of use, and so forth. The minimum requirements is it should contain 2 pages, actual content pages, and 1 bibliography page. You guys understand what I mean by bibliography page. On top of that, all formatting should be done in a style sheet. Now, I've explained to you in the earlier videos, a style sheet means that instead of you, if your client changes their mind on how a page should look, or if you change your mind, you can change it in one place and it'll change throughout the whole entire website. So, and even you can actually even get it so that the user can choose which style he or she wants to use. So if he wants to have you guys have seen that even Microsoft Office now allows you to change your themes, right? So you can make your website so the user can choose what theme they want to run the website in. So you can come up with various themes by linking it to different style sheets. Anyway, not the point. HTML5 is just got to do with using your semantic tags. So instead of actually just coding all of it up there, that you actually use a tag that tells me that this is the header, this is the navigation area, this is the section. So it doesn't just provide the content, it provides what kind of data is in there, not just layout. It talks about here that at least 70% of your should be your own words. Meaning, I don't want you just to copy and paste from the internet, and when you do, you need to quote it, or if it's an image, you make it so that if you click on that image, it will directly take you to that location there. So now, if I've got an image from another website, which most of them will be, when you click on the image, it will take me to the original source. Does that make sense? So that way you're referencing it by, if you click on it, it will take you to there. And the bibliography. Now, this is how you're going to be marked on. The mark sheet indicates that the one is the design, how it looks. Now, common look and feel is a very when you exploring a website, you don't want to go to one page, then you go to the next page, and everything looks completely different. You got to refine where things are. Does that kind of make sense? It's like with applications. Applications are designed similarly, so that you know where to find stuff. Does that kind of make sense? So common look and feel in your website, meaning that when you go to the next page, it doesn't know, the layout hasn't completely changed. It keeps the solid layout. So like I'm doing with the ice cream thing, where I have a layout, I first create the layout, I then copy it to my other pages, I can then add the content. Does that make sense? So the layout should be the same for all pages. And looks good. Extra mile is the little things like on the design, you've added a drop-down menu. So for example, if you go to your W3 schools, there's a section on how to do a drop-down menu, there's a section on how to do hovers over the buttons. Little things where you've made your website just a little bit cooler. And all of that is done, a lot of it's done through CSS and whatnot. But now, explanation of technology, it's just on the content, do I understand the technology? Are the specs of what the technology is, like in other words, just details of the specifications of it, examples of where it's used, extra mile for with regards to, have you just put the basics of what this thing is, or have you gone into explaining it a bit more detailed? There's marks for that all pages have titles. You understand what I mean by title? Like this one at the top here, it gives a title. So a page would, like our HTML project, would have, it's got there a title of Craig Bradley Ice Cream. So that's the title there, that you've made sure that all your pages have titles. Something that I don't know if I mentioned previously, but all images have alternative text, meaning that when you move your mouse or in your HTML code, let me inspect element, you'll see there that I've said alternative ice cream picture. And the reason why is if there's that alternative text means if the user has chosen not to download images, so they want the stuff to load quicker, it will just display that text. And certain browsers or certain areas where you work with it, if you move your mouse over it, it will display it as well. It doesn't in this case. Anyway, I don't remember what the definition between that is. Might be name, but anyway. All images linked to their sources, 2 marks, all formatting done in CSS, 4 marks. So this is here, you guys have your project task sheet. You guys are what I want to, by the end of this period, or at least by tomorrow, I want you to tell me what you're going to do it on. Does that make sense? So you can apply a lot of what you've been learning. I want you to work through the videos and just have pretty much what I've done up, just so you can get the idea of it. But then you can explore with your own one. You come up with your own plan. So for example, myself, I like to work with Excel, but you guys can draw with pen and paper. I'm doing Excel because I'm, well, because I can. And also it's my drawing pad, I left at home. I do actually have a drawing pad. But for example, you can choose, I want my navigation bar to be on the left-hand side, so I want this to be a navigation area. I then want title at the bottom. I want my website to look like this, for example. So your website would be this way around in your layout. You come up with a base plan of how you want to lay out your structure. Some of you might want to have like a thin one, a large one, another large one, very large one, and then a line along the left that's thin. So you want to do something like but then you would have an idea of the content. So a good idea is to come up with a plan of how you want your website to look before you start designing it. Does that kind of make sense? And then from there you can follow up and go, okay, cool. Use your absolute positions. I want this to be, for example, this section here should be 90 view width or 95 view width even. So you start planning things like this. This would obviously be 100. This one would be 10 VH. So you start to plan what the heights of different things will be, how you want your color schemes to work. My ice cream color scheme is very, very loud. Usually it's better to use a bit more subtle changes on websites, that kind of thing. If you want to look at websites that are online that you like, you guys go wild. Do you guys get me? Any questions before I end the video? No questions? Seriously? That's kind of, so you all know what's expected of you. On that note then, goodbye.